Welcome to Bitchin' Kitchen Live. It's your girl Nadia G broadcasting live from Hollywood, California. Hey! As you all know, 2 p.m. means 3 p.m. means ish. How's everybody doing today? I'm gonna get in there and look. Mr. Rangel says hola, hola. Hey. So everybody's joining. Welcome, welcome. Get comfortable because we are making something so good today. We are making homemade pasta. Yes. Now, I've definitely made a pasta by hand before, but I have used the help of a pasta machine. Today we are going to do it simply with our own hands and elbow grease, and honestly there is no excuse to say you're hungry ever again. Flour is so cheap, okay? All you need is some all-purpose flour or 00 flour, but all-purpose will do the job, and an egg. And you've got yourself some homemade pasta. So I am super excited to make this. Also because I'm super hungry and cannot wait to eat some homemade pasta. The texture is completely different, right? You can't compare. Even the best organic pasta that you could find does not hold a candle, okay, to pasta made by hand. So I'm hungry. I can't wait to eat this pasta. And then I'm going to be making a brown butter, okay, sauce. Just simple, you know, if the pasta's gonna be so good, you just want to let it shine. We're gonna be doing a little bit of brown butter. Throw in some sweet green peas, a ton of Parmesan, and a couple of herbs from my herb garden here. I think, you know, I might do a little bit of sage, a little bit of thyme. It's going to be so delicious. Now, let's begin with the most important part, okay? And that is weighing your flour. Whether you're making pasta, whether you're making cookies, whether you're making a pie, you must absolutely weigh your flour, okay? Because 1 cup of flour densely packed is a lot more than 1 cup of flour, all right? So let me show you. Here I've got a scale, a kitchen scale. These are super duper cheap. All right, you can find them pretty much anywhere online. Just Google kitchen scale. And to make Italian egg pasta, the ingredients list is very simple. Number 1, 100 grams of all-purpose flour or 00 flour, and 1 egg. A little pinch of salt if you want to, but it's fine, you don't need it. That is literally the ingredients list to make homemade pasta. 100 grams of flour, 1 egg. Okay, so the way this kitchen scale works, the way this kitchen scale works, mine, is you put whatever instrument you're going to be using to scoop your pasta, you turn it on, and it's going to subtract that from the weight. So I'm at 0 right now, okay? So I'm going to get in there. It's got 94 grams, very close. 118 grams. That's not gonna do. And this is why doing it by weight is so important, because like I said, that the flour in the bag is very condensed. Okay, so now we're at 103 grams. 99. That's good enough for me. Okay, 99, 100. So I'm going to schiaf this flour right here, okay? And gonna make a little well in the middle, all right? Just like this. Okay. This is an organic brown egg. Okay, and I'm going to carefully put the egg in the well there. I did a terrible job at what the hell did I do to this egg? It doesn't matter. Just get in there and pluck out the shell. Okay? There we go. The egg is in here. You just start mixing it together. Okay? It's gonna look like a burdel, but it's eventually going to come together. All right? Now, just keep going. Just try and get all that goopy egg in from the sides. You know, making pasta sounds intimidating, but it's really, really not. It is so easy. All it does take is some elbow grease, because it takes some time for it to all come together, and you're gonna have to knead until it does. All right? Now, some of you can use, tend to use a food processor to do this, but I've seen my grandmother make it. She never used a food processor. All right, so don't be afraid to get in there and just kind of, it's really interesting. It'll go from super sticky and feeling like it'll never come together to smooth in about a good 5 minutes plus of kneading. This is something that you're gonna have to kind of feel for. Okay, so it's starting to come together a little bit, and I'm just going to get some of this off my fingers. So as you can see, it's extremely sticky at first, but that's fine. Okay, so step number 1 is working it until all the little bits are incorporated. The good news is you can never over knead pasta. You can never overwork pasta dough. Okay, so it's not like bread where you gotta be careful. Am I kneading this too much? No, pasta dough, even if you knead it for an hour, all right, there's just gonna come a point where so much gluten has developed, okay, that you won't be able to knead it anymore. So it'll, it tells you, like with a lot of food, it will tell you when it's time to stop. Now, as you can see, all right, it doesn't come together so easily, right? And so you've just got to keep on working it until it does. You don't want to add any more liquid, aka another egg. No, the amount is 1 egg, 100 grams. Okay, and I just, you could start it off like this, right? Put some music on, watch an episode of something, okay? And then once it can kind of hold itself together, which is, we're getting close to that stage now. I mean, and it takes some work, all right? It takes some work, but that's fine. Okay, and now we're going to start with the kneading process. Okay, you just kind of grab it and then push it away from yourself. Yeah. So, any which way you do it, the job will get done, okay? And now from this point, you're gonna be looking at another good 3 minutes, if not more, okay? And so I'm just gonna keep squishing this. You could knead it the way I was showing you. You can just grab it and squeeze it, okay? Pinch it, and it's tough. It's tough, okay? It really is, because for 100 grams of flour, only 1 egg, there's not a lot of moisture in here. But that's, we're making pasta. We're not making bread. So just keep working it, all right? And at some point, it's going to get smooth, right? It might take 5 minutes, it might take 8 minutes, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to move this out the way, okay? Or maybe I'll work it a little bit longer, but I have some pasta dough that I started this morning that's ready to be rolled out, okay? And I mean, you really gotta get in there. The third ingredient is elbow grease. That is for sure. Okay? Now, I'm gonna put this aside. It is addictive though. I'm actually really enjoying, especially with all the stress, right? This last few months, 2020 in general, okay? This is a great way to kind of work it all out, right? Anyways, I'm proud of everybody in this community, you know, making calls, protesting on the front lines, whatever it takes, right? It's been a long overdue in this country. So, you know, not only is a pasta a great dish to eat after you've been spending your days getting some righteous shit done, but it's also fun to make. You work out a little bit of that stress. Right there we go. You can see how tough it is, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Now, I'm just gonna move this stuff and get this out the way, okay? And I'm gonna start working. Here we go. Put a bit of flour down. The dough that has already had a chance to relax, all right? So, you saw how tough it was, right? But now you see how soft it is? Look at that. Very easy to work, okay? And that's because once you knead it and it looks nice and smooth, okay, but it's hard, you gotta let the dough relax for at least 20-30 minutes, all right? It could be longer. You can keep it in the fridge, all right? If you do put it in the fridge, you're going to want to bring it down to room temp before you start rolling it. Now, I, for the life of me, could not find my rolling pin. So I ran to the corner store, and they didn't have a rolling pin, but they did have a bottle of water. That's gonna be my rolling pin, okay? So I just washed the outside, and if any of you don't have a rolling pin at home, this is, you know, a great replacement. I mean, at the end of the day, what's a rolling pin? If it has the same shape, if it's cylindrical, all right, cylindrical and clean, that's good enough. So I'm just gonna start rolling it out just like that with a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick, okay? You can give it a little pull, right? And if you have a pasta machine, obviously at this point, you would be putting it into the machine and it's going to make those nice thin pieces for you, okay? You see how easy it is to work? Right. Now once I've got it kind of thin, I'm gonna whip out another tool that I like to use in a pinch, okay, to make it even thinner. This little glass mixer, okay, and this is just awesome for rolling it out. You see this thing? Okay. some patience to make this for sure, but you know, I'm enjoying it. So it's nice to kind of keep your hands busy, especially with our minds working so hard and overtime these days with all that's going on, right? So just keep rolling it out, okay? And as you know, it depends what kind of pasta you're making. I'm gonna be making a chunkier pappardelle. So for those of you who don't know what pappardelle is, it's kind of like a really fat fettuccine, fat as in wider, because I think that'll just be so good and toothsome with the brown butter and the sweet peas and all that good stuff. So it's starting to get there, you see? It's really amazing what a difference in texture, right? From where we started to where it is now. Okay. Sounds delicious. Yes, it's going to be extremely delicious. Now, you know, when you're making fresh egg pasta like this, you don't need much. All right. And some fried capers could be really good. A little bit of garlic. Okay. So I'm almost there. I'm almost to where I want to be. Okay. And then, all right. Yeah. Okay. So, plenty of flour on this. Okay. The shape is a little awkward. So, you know, I probably should have spent more time thinking about which direction I'm going to be rolling it out. But I'm just going to kind of cut off the edges here so I can create something that somewhat resembles a rectangle. Okay? And then I'll deal with the rest of it later. All right, so now I got a nice piece of pasta. I'm going to roll it out one more time so it's nice and thin, because it tends to kind of bounce back, you know. Okay, great. And then I'm going to roll it onto itself, okay, just like that. And then slice my pappardelle. So how thick? That looks good to me. Okay. And if you're making fettuccine, obviously make it thinner. All right. But I'm liking this. It's kind of fat noodle. It's going to be so good. Okay. There we go. Nice. Very nice. I'm going to go directly in here. Just white waste anything. Okay. May not have been these pieces, right? May not have worked in the roll cutting strategy, but certainly you could just get in there with your knife. Okay. This is going to be so good. Okay, there we go. And this will take no time at all. No time at all to boil, right? 30 seconds and they'll be done. So I'm going to unfurl these suckers. Look at this. Look. Okay. Can you imagine how good this is gonna taste? Right. I'm just gonna put these aside, give my hands a rinse, and we'll get cracking on our brown butter sauce. It's really sticky. Really sticky. Fantastic. Gonna get the heat going here. Oh, medium. I got some unsalted butter. Alright. You always want to use unsalted butter. This way you can control how much salt. You're like, oh, it is so hot today in Southern California. This is just melting. Okay. For this, so as you can see, let's just talk about portions for a second, right? This is good for one person. So 100 grams of flour, 1 egg, 1 person. And then you do the math from there depending on how many people you want to feed. I'm going to go and put in a generous amount of butter. 2 tablespoons is fine. Right? And get that melting. Just rinse my hands again. See, I'm really proud of this pasta. It looks so good. And I love how fat these noodles are. Right? Let's see if anyone has any questions or something. Nadia, love coming to your classes. Thank you very much. No pasta left behind. No, well, there's a little bit of pasta left behind. But I'm going to, I don't know, maybe I might just throw it in there and boil it. You're right. Why should some pasta be left behind? Huh? There we go. Now for real, no pasta left behind. Okay, now it's time to turn the heat up on the boiling water here. Okay. Salt, salt, salt. Very important to salt your pasta water. That's where all the flavor comes from. So be generous with that salt. And I'm going to crank the heat up on this brown butter just to get it going. And maybe give you a little sneak peek at my herb garden. Look at these babies. So beautiful. I've got sage, I've got basil. I used up all the parsley recently in a delicious dressing. Oh, the butter's going a bit too high. Turn it down. It's really interesting. Parsley tastes completely different when it's organic and grown in your garden. There's a whole flavor profile that's missing from store-bought parsley. And that flavor is kind of like a little bit reminiscent of cucumber or melon. Seriously, it's so strange. I'd never tasted parsley with that flavor in it, right? But yeah. So I'm gonna get some sage out and a little bit of thyme. Okay, you don't need much. Right, thyme is very, very strong. So I'm just gonna get in there. Oh, that smells so good. All right. Now you want to keep an eye on your butter because it can go from brown to burnt very quickly. What are you looking for? You're looking for the solids in the butter, okay, to get brown. And as they cook, all right, as those proteins cook, as you can see, it's starting, all right, they develop a nutty flavor, kind of like a caramel, nutty flavor. It's so good. You could smell it when it starts to go, and it's starting to go right now. Honestly, it smells like caramel. Okay, so, woo, that'll wake you up. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off the heat and just let the really hot brown butter do its thing to the herbs, okay? I'm just gonna put this on the side over there until we're ready to use this sauce. So you could see how easy that was, right? I'm gonna turn this off. Water is boiling. In goes, I'm gonna grab the whole bunch. This way they all start cooking at the same time. In goes our pasta. All right, I'm gonna max this baby out. Now, usually I would do this over the stove, but it's very difficult for you to see what's going on. Okay, with the stove over there, I mean, it's gonna be ready instantaneously. Okay, let's give it a stir. It's coming together. Is this off? These chunky pappardelle sound good. I'm gonna throw sweet peas that I just quickly blanched in some boiling water for 2 minutes. Right in there with our brown butter. So, what do we have going on? The nuttiness, all right, of the brown butter, sweetness of the peas. We've got 2 types of herbs in here, sage and thyme, all right? And then, of course, we're gonna top this off with some parmigiano. So, yes, this is going to be good. These suckers are gonna cook just for a few more seconds. Yes, please. What I'm looking for here is some tongs. For some reason, I can't seem to find. I'll make do. Now you're gonna wanna strain this pasta. I don't have much of it, so it's very easy for me to just kind of get at it with a slotted spoon, okay? And you know they say throw a little bit of pasta water in there. It's completely unnecessary if you're doing it this way, because there will be some pasta water with the noodle as you transport it. So if you do decide to make a smaller portion and you're fishing them out like this, you really do not need to add additional pasta water. Look at that. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. All right, turn the heat off here, get it going over here. And this is a very important step with any pasta, is letting it cook for that additional minute. That's why it's best to get it out of the water when it's still slightly undercooked, because you're going to want to mix it in with the sauce so it absorbs all the flavor for an additional minute. Yes. I am very excited for this pasta, as you can tell. I like to do this on a high heat. Okay. I can't wait to show you what this looks like. So all those caramelized butter proteins getting all over the noodles there. It's going to be a ton of flavor. Okay. Now I don't know how cheap this meal is, but it must be under $5, frankly. Right? Flour, 1 egg, just a couple of tablespoons of butter and some peas. Now, if you want to throw some crab meat in here, that would be super good, but really it doesn't need anything. It's perfectly delicious, you know, just like that. You can hear it sizzling. And it looks like $1,000,000, right? This looks like the type of pasta dish you'd get at a really expensive Italian restaurant. Okay, so this is a really impressive dish as well. Okay, now let me try and find a way to show you up close. Look at that beautiful pasta. Here with the sweet peas. Now the last step is going to be some freshly grated parm. I'm going to get this goodness on a plate right here first. Yes. A few more of these piselli. Microplane. Okay. Seriously, how easy was that, right? Good amount of cheese on there. And lastly, a fork. It's beautiful hand-cut pappardelle with brown butter, sweet peas, thyme, sage. Well, let's see what this tastes like. Yes. Oh, that is good. That is really good. Very hearty. Okay. The pasta, I will admit, is a little thicker than I'd like. I'd roll it thinner next time. But when you're at home, you know, and not live, you just take your time and get that pasta really, really nice and thin. Okay? But the flavors are just spectacular. Okay. Let's just get that kind of bite back, that bounce. It's a texture that you don't get with store-bought pasta. There's a springiness. Wow. Okay. Yep. Now that is truly so good. Truly such an easy and cheap meal to make, and it tastes like $1,000,000. Yes. I love it. Get some flour, get an egg, and make this pasta. Alla prossima!